Every Sunday for the past year in Melbourne, there has been a protest held at the State Library to free Palestine in solidarity of Gaza. The police are still closely supervising these protests in order to maintain public order, as, unlike other states, Victoria does not have a formal permit system.
It's probably the only state yet which doesn't have this formal system. Now, other states and territories have a permit system, but it's a voluntary thing, it's not mandatory. The only exception to that is Tasmania, which does have an offence if you don't get a permit. The other ones, the meaning of the permit will mean that if you do have an assembly, you can't be charged with certain things. There's a small list, things like public order offences just from having an assembly.
Last week, Bill Shorten, the Minister for the NDIS and Government Services, announced his support to build a constraint for an authorised public assembly for certain protests where people would now have to submit a motion to protest giving the state more power. Protester Hayden McDermott does not agree with this.
I just think it defeats the entire purpose of going to a protest. Like, it's supposed to be inconvenient, it's supposed to make people think and question what's going on, it's supposed to make people uncomfortable. So to have a permit system and only allow whatever protest you like, it's ridiculous.
According to the United Nations Australian Human Rights Treaty, a permit system would actually undermine the human rights law. Nonetheless, there is still a responsibility to notify the government or council to prevent potential chaos.
But the UN Human Rights Committee has clearly said there should not be an authorisation system. That is, assembly should not be banned and people shouldn't be fined simply for having an assembly.
The suggestion of this permit could potentially change the way Victoria responds to future protests, which continues to be a reminder of our democracy and the freedom people hold. Daniel Walton reports.